welcome back. And if you just joined us, you're still on to Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's have our conversation for today. After the tragic suicide of a 19-year-old girl in Lagos, identified by neighbors as Timilehin fate, mental health professionals are urging a more robust support system for students dealing with exam-related stress. Timilehin, originally from Abeokuta in Ogun State and residing with her older sibling in Ikorodu, reportedly took her life after scoring 190 in the 2025 UTME, and an outcome she felt was worse than her previous year's results. Described by locals as a quiet and promising young woman, her death has sparked outrage in the community. Many residents blamed the examination board for contributing to the pressure that led to her action, while experts in mental health called for urgent attention to the emotional well-being of students. Michael Jacob, a psychotherapist and the founder of Emotion Compass Academy, stressed that academic results should not define a person's value rather. He warned against the linking academic shortcomings with intelligence and urged students to seek help instead of suffering alone. Psychologist Patricia Udoesen echoed this, pointing to the immense stress that exams place on young people. She highlighted the psychological impact of unmet expectations and encouraged students to find healthy outlets for their emotions and not be afraid to ask for support. She also appealed to parents to show compassion and provide emotional stability during these critical times. Clinical psychologist Hamid Latifat added that society must begin to treat failure as a normal aspect of life, not a defining moment. Amid backlash from the public, especially from concerned parents and students, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board JAMB said it would re-evaluate the 2025 UTME results. According to the spokesperson, Fabian Benjamin, the board is fast-tracking its annual system audit to address the high volume of complaints that followed the release of the results. That's what we have today. Now let's get talking. And I have with me an eloquence of lawyers. Of course, still with us is Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. Thank you so very much for hanging on. We truly do appreciate it once more.
I am privileged to be with you.
Thank you so very much. And joining us right now is Barrister Vansu Feli, Barrister, Law Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you so very much, Barrister.
Very well. Thank you very much.
So I would love to start with you, Barrister. Particularly, you threatened to file a suit against the JAMB.
Yes.
Right. So I want you to bring us up to speed. It's close to 2 days now. It's been raging all over social media and across traditional media. What are we having today?
Yeah, we're filing a fundamental right enforcement suit today. In fact, I speak to you, the filing is ongoing. Fundamental right enforcement suit does not require pre-action notice by the rules, not compulsory. You can do that for surplusage, but it's not compulsory. So even though we had a notice in the newspaper and all that where we shared why we are doing this, we're not doing this to vilify JAMB or to cast aspersion on anyone. We're doing this as a watchdog of society. Because if institutions are failing, systemic failures here and there, and the citizens who are supposed to be watchdog are not doing what they ought to do, we may wake up one day, JAMB will call, fix a date for exam, and when students get there, they will say there's no exam if we don't do what we're doing now. And it's critical. Yesterday, I had so many calls, over 80 calls. Someone is tracking the calls for me of different issues. You know, the set that annoy us the most is the one that has to do with the underage. Okay, you conducted an exam, they registered for the exam. Even you had some landmarks for them separately, that those who are underage must score 300 and above. After they do that, they will still go and sit for an exam with the Ministry of Education. They will do this, they will do that, and all that to show that they are ready for. I mean, if you look at the Child Rights Act, that's discrimination. Because in the Child Rights Act, it's clearly stated that no child shall be discriminated against. Okay? And when you look at the turnout, one of the students who parents called yesterday talked about the fact that the son went to check, and what you have there is underage, no result. What JAMB should understand is that if you feel a student is underage, then you don't need to open the portal for them. There's no point registering.
But I thought we had concluded that the former Minister of Education, of course, had said that he would not allow for less than 18 years of students to sit for JAMB. And we all asked him to forget about that. So why is JAMB still making it difficult?
That is the Minister for, but our focus here have always been the Minister for Education. He has little or nothing in this issue. The Registrar of JAMB, okay, that's the person we should be calling out on this issue, because they are the one that make the policy for the purpose of this exam, not the Ministry of Education. The policy is from the Registrar of JAMB itself. Okay, so now when a child sits for that exam, okay, it is not necessarily that this child wants to get into the university at that age. Some of them are still in secondary school. They only want to try and see what they can score, to see their mark, their intellectual prowess, preparedness, and standing before that exam. So when they now write that exam, you don't show them the results. What does it mean? I mean, so the time, the money spent, effort, and everything is wasted. It is wrong, and it's injustice. So we are doing this in the interest of justice. That if a child is qualified to register for an exam, he should be qualified to see the result of that exam, to know whether he's doing well or doing badly. And that is what we should. Now, this lady that just took her life, this is actually avoidable. There's a case of a lady that scored 267 or thereabouts last year, okay? And she wrote the exam this year and scored 155. Yes. Okay, so there's a technical systemic breakdown somewhere. First, the outcome was such that you took the children through so many harrowing experiences. You asked them to come by 6 a.m. Many of them got by 6 a.m. The exam didn't start up until 3 p.m. So you asked them to come early. Some of them are even missing and the rest of that. So at the end of the day, what JAMB tested was not the intellection or the intellectual prowess of the students, but the ability to absorb stress, chaos, and the rest of that. And these children were not prepared for chaos. They were not prepared that on the day, what they'll be testing them on is their ability to withstand chaos. They were told, and the objective of JAMB is that they'll be testing them on their capacity to qualify for tertiary education and nothing more. So if on the day of that exam you now present something else to them, you are testing their capacity on different areas of life that is not connected to academics, we're asking the court to set aside that exam.
All right. Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, I'd love to ask you, apart from the fundamental human rights suit by Barrister Vansufeli on JAMB, we have about 8,900 students that are preparing to file for class action, yet again against the JAMB. I'd love you to speak to this matter. How do you think this would possibly get the attention of JAMB? Would a class action get the attention of JAMB?
In fact, without even the class action, the JAMB is already giving attention, because contrary to the position of the JAMB registrar, wherein he was trying to defend the results, saying that this is not the first time. In fact, this is one of the best results so far. He was trying to defend that. He has also called for a meeting to review the results. So indirectly, he's agreeing that there are things to be looked into. So he's already using the reading results. So it shows that when we put pressure on the people in the authority, sometimes that means they will give up, and then they will give to whatever we're asking for. So in the case, if people have been doing this before now, when your right is infringed, you go to court and challenge it, whether you're going to win or not. And they know that this total number of people will go to court or this and that, they will sit tight and do the right thing. But because they know people will not even challenge it, people will not even ask questions, and people will even justify what is happening, and that's why they are doing that. I begin to think and say, I hear this issue of the students are not serious, this and that. Yes, to an extent, everybody has a blame. The student, the parents, everybody has a blame. But what we're saying here is that you as JAMB, have you done the right thing? Have you done your own part to be able to shift blame to anybody? Did you do the right thing? Just like Evan said, they have I think they've done the right thing by going to court and to say, if you can allow me to sit for exam, why can't you allow me to see my results? The fact that you are giving me results does not mean I must enter university. So even if you give me results, it's a different ball game for admission. Whether I will get admission or not, it's a different ball game. But I must have my results. If I have my results, I don't want to present it for admission. The school cannot say you are not qualified because you have not the age. They buy you from the qualification. So there are two different things. If you can collect my money for exam, you must be able to give me my results. When you are collecting the money, when you allow me to register, you did not say I am underage, therefore I can't register. You allow me pay money. You allow me do exam, travel from one place to another, or even do the struggle. And then thereafter you say you will not give me my results. The result is to prepare, just like you said, is for some of them to be prepared towards the next one. And some of them, even before the next admission, they will have been they will have met the required age. So I think JAMB should do the right thing by ensuring that look, proper things are done. And again, I hear this story of news, or is it me that is not current, of a special center or when it comes to JAMB and the WAEC or something. And I begin to ask myself questions.
Well, that's for WAEC, barrister. That's for WAEC, not JAMB. Yeah.
No, they say so as well in JAMB, that special center. I begin to mark, even for JAMB, okay, let's even assume it is WAEC. In our exam, in national exam, what is special center? I begin to ask myself those questions. What is special question? Who designed that center as special? Why is it special? And if it's special, if it's fraudulently organized, how do they get a question paper? How do they examine them in that area? Who send the question paper to the center? So because I hear them give excuses. So you see some of these people who go and register in special center, and they will not do all the sort of manipulation. They will not say they score well. We are trying to cure those situations. So I don't know who approved that center as special center. I don't know how exam questions are taken to those centers. I don't know who are the one invigilating. So we need to do a lot in our education to ensure that look, proper things are done. Once we have a proper thing on ground, we'll get proper results. As it is today, the things are not working well. JAMB is derailing. I have been one of the few people who have been saying it. I do not see why JAMB should be remitting money to federal government. I do not see any justification. I do not see it. It shows that they are collecting more than they need from the people. JAMB is not to raise money. It's not a generation money. People are not saying, yeah, you see, this man is a very good man because people now are not. That's not the point. The point is that should JAMB be generating money? The JAMB is not for money generation. So now they focus more on money generation than even the exam itself. And that's one of the problems we're having, because somebody want to score political goal by saying that he has remitted also amount of money to JAMB, and therefore this is this. How can JAMB be remitting billions? It shows that you are collecting more than what you need. We need to also review that area.
All right.
So we need to challenge all these activities for us to have where we're going to. People who are doing JAMB are Nigerians. We need to, some of them are even indigents. Then you now squeeze them, get more money from them, and go and give it to politicians who use it to buy car. And they buy private jets and furnish their houses. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Very true, Barrister. Barrister Bansifele, I would love to ask you this. Don't you think the right suit here should be an outright cancellation of JAMB? And I have my reasons to that. If a Nigerian wants to seek for admission in Oxford or Cambridge, all you need to do is get to your phone, apply, you have all the requisite stuff, and they check on it. They give you admission from anywhere in the world. So why should we have JAMB? Is it necessary?
No, we also have pre-qualifying examinations in other places of the world. Like United States, for example, you write SAT, SAT. The SAT exam pre-qualifies you for undergraduate admission, okay, which is a standard exam. Okay, so I mean, having an exam that pre-qualifies students for tertiary institution is not a bad thing, for me, my own estimation. But I think that the exam must be conducted in ways that will show transparency and fairness for all involved. You don't say that some student, because they are underage, they should go and score 300 plus and go and write another exam again. Failure, if they don't score up to 300, then you say no result underage. You don't do that. It's unfair and unjust, especially when there's a Child Rights Act that says you should not discriminate against children, okay? And the issue further is that if you want to test student intellection, focus on intellection. If you want to test their ability for stunt making, somersaulting, stress absorption, everything. Let's know. But what we know is that the objective of JAMB is to test student preparedness, capacity for tertiary education. And if you now have an exam, you are not doing that thing, that exam, the results, the outcome should be set aside. And they should conduct another one. Okay?
Given
now,
the cost of doing this, do you think
it does not matter?
possible?
It does not matter the cost of. They are declaring billions for federal. You heard them. I mean, Basatunji said that we've read it in the newspaper where they are generating money for the federal government. I don't know what it's meant for. I mean, a JAMB is not MPA. They are not a tax collection or revenue collection. They are an examination body. So generating money for federal government does not go hand in hand with education. So let's be factual. I mean, these children are young and impressionable. I mean, these children writing Zena, they are not even the Gen Zs. They are the Alpha generation. Yes. They are much more brilliant and intelligent, more than even the Gen Zs. Okay? They may not be tough mentally as the X generation and the Gen Z, but they are very intelligent. They were born to the information age. So they are soaked in the whole parameter of what we are talking about. Now, even their capacity to absorb stress is very weak. Like you can see, somebody just took her life. You understand? So we must understand the variables and the condition.
So don't you think that's the reason? Because don't you think that's the reason JAMB is trying to be a protectionist organization, even if that's not what they're supposed to be? We know Nigerian parents, once you give that leeway for students under age to sit for exams, Pastor Vance Feli, you will agree with me that Nigerian parents will literally allow their 13-year-old child who is groomed from an external center to go sit for JAMB. So don't you think that is equally?
That is why if you put a benchmark on this, on the age, okay, put a benchmark on the age, put it in the portal, such that if you are not up to the age, you will not be able to register. So you ward that one off. Okay. You understand? You ward it off. When you ward it off, you now admit to the exam those who are of the age you want. Okay? You can come, you can bring a legislation, go through the House, let them pass a law to that effect. If you think you are going to be challenged, if you do it by policy, then let's have a particular age so that they will know. Not that you open it to all and sundry. Then later, midway, you will now say this particular set will not have result, or this set will have also score before they can see result. Then these other ones will have. That's discrimination. The Constitution forbids it. You understand? And these children, they are young and impressionable. Their country should not disappoint them at that age. I mean, at least the country should be able to deliver on promises. At least that's the least we can do for them, so that they too can access tertiary education and be confident of themselves and embrace the future and do whatever it is they want to, so that they'll be able to compete with their peers all over the world. But if you have, and let us also know that, let us also state that a child's score in JAMB or whatsoever exam does not really mean that that is what is required to be productive thereafter or whatsoever it is. It is just to measure how prepared a child is. You understand? So this thing about you must score 290, you must score 350 before you can get admission into the university. These conversations are useless. Somebody can score 190, get into university, and still understand and do better than those who scored, because their temperaments are different. The idea should not be about the score. The idea should be about educating the masses, the society. Whichever way the score is, you should put it in a way that you are able to admit as many as possible. And then let the university system now filter them. The ones that are not able to meet up can go for vocational studies or whatsoever it is. So, but this is our idea of a 380. Some people want to score 400 over 400. Yeah? It doesn't change, doesn't make any difference. That's what I think. It doesn't make any difference, because that is not a true test of knowledge. Examination cannot be the true test of knowledge, because we've seen situations where those people who had first class, who had different kind of results, in the workplace, they are not able to measure up. And we've seen those who have lower degrees in the workplace, they do better. So we should look at the individual peculiarities. I mean, putting a blanket figure for everybody in everything we do when people have different temperaments shows that we really don't know what we're doing. We're qualifying people on the same, everybody should be on one kind of score
all size
range.
fits all.
No, it's not done.
Very bad. Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, I want to ask you this. There are lots of factors, just like Barrister Vance did say. The pressure for these students, for the candidates, is immense. The only country in the world where we've seen students kill themselves, literally because of failing exams, is India. In fact, it is a pandemic in India right now. I'd love to ask you this. The pressure from parents, don't you think this is equally very instrumental? Because every parent desires to see their child become immaculate when it comes to education and all that. So how do you think parents can help students to understand, number one, that you need to get to the right age before getting to sit for exams? Then secondly, do not base your whatever on the results that you hope to get.
You see, if we have our law working the way it should work, nobody will want to take their child or children to do exam before the age that is required. But because they know the system is not working. If we have a benchmark that for you to write JAMB, you must be 15. Just like Evan said, once you are doing your registration and you are below 15, it will not accept you. Then that is sorted. But because we know that in Nigeria, everything has a way. You must have a way. Once you are in one or two things or people, your own must be different and you must change it for you. So if you are aware that even if your child decides to graduate from the primary school at the age of 7, he goes nowhere. You will not rush him to do anything, because you know whether you rush or not, he will still attain that age before moving forward. So you will be patient to allow him go through the system. Then because we know the system it can be compromised, they want to rush it. And you see today now, we make more. Some people who does that do it just basically. Some parents is just for competition. That my child is this, my child is that. That he has gone from age 5. He became he enter university or he enter primary school or he enter secondary school. Some people are for that. Some don't do it for. Some are just competing. In fact, I see parents. I hear that some parents will even go and bribe schools to make sure that students that people or their children are getting good scores. Yeah. The foundation is getting bad in that regard. So the parents and the teachers and the schools are not left out in the blame. You see, especially in our public institution, I pity people in primary schools. Because I see some of the people we call teachers in primary schools. Some of them are not even qualified to be class to be prep master to be what how do you say, I don't know how to qualify it. They're not even qualified to be appointed as teacher because they don't even know it. They're not even fit to be there. So you see this kind of people in primary school because it's not a political game. They use it as political compensation. Whether you are qualified or not, whether you are good, once you know you belong to one party or you know one political leader, you can get appointment in fact, in my state now, teaching job is now the major compensation for political followers, whether you are good in it or not. Once you are a member of their party, they will open Subeb portal, say they are recruiting, and they will recruit almost everybody, whether you are qualified or not, once you are in their category. So those are the issues. And the emphasis on the certificate is also an issue. We emphasize more on certificate in this rather than what you can do. And just like everyone said, I'm also one of those people who don't believe that examination is the best test of knowledge. I've been saying it because I have so many examples. I know people who can deliver well when speaking, but when it comes to writing, they can't perform. Let me give an example. When I was at the university, year 1, we call it. There's a course called English 115. It's like a literature. I hate literature. I won't lie to you. I have never in my life finished one novel. I have never, as I speak. In fact, if I see it today, if I carry novel, I will say, I have one law book that I have not read. Why will I be reading this? So I'll drop it. So what I'm saying is that course at that time when we were supposed to do it, that course is a borrow course, and we do that course with the English department. A day to our exam, a friend called me and said they are doing tutorial somewhere that we should go and attend. I don't read it the night. That day I followed my friend. We went there. The tutorial was in the night. and I think they finished around 12 that day. So I was there. A guy was giving us all the story, or teaching us all the things. In fact, I was looking at, am I going to do this exam tomorrow? Because I look like I was in different place, and I don't even know anything they are saying. Everything they were discussing is not known to me, because I was seeing myself as unprepared. Fortunately and unfortunately for me and for the other guy, the guy that was the one pushing us through in the morning was sitting beside me at the exam hall. Because that day when we left, don't let me forget, when we left that day, I couldn't sleep. I have to go and carry my book again, start rushing, doing the last rush reading. At the exam center, the guy was sitting beside me. Do you know I have finished my 3 questions, 3 out of 4 questions. The guy was sitting on 1 page. He was sitting on 1 page, doing like this. I was even asking, do you want to copy my notes? And he was the one leading us through, and he was doing it well. But at the exam center, he couldn't write. I don't know what happened. He scored D, I scored B. That is the point I'm making. So it's like exam sometimes is not a true test. I know people, lawyers, senior lawyers, respected lawyers who have done well, that came out at law school and said university with 3rd class. They were one of the best today. Some of them was the best when he was alive. So today, we have seen people who have scored 1st class. They are not doing well. We have seen people with pass that will be doing well. So we should emphasize the issue of what you score, and there should be a way to test you, to know whether you have the capacity or you have the knowledge to absorb what they want to teach you, and find a way for you to get. If you can't study law, you can study anything else, so that they will push you to that place. What we should create is an enabling environment where we have enough university to cater for the needs of our students, so that there won't be screening. Because all this, you must score 330, you must score 5, it's for screen and reduce the number. That's just the truth. It's just to reduce the number. If you have the capacity to accommodate everybody, it will reduce. Only few people will not get admission. The issue of you must score 500 or 400 or over 400 will not arise again. They will even say, come and score 150. When you get to the school, they will screen you well. When in the exam, if you can't cope, the school will advise you to withdraw. But because our system is not working well, those are the issues. So for me, we need to look at all these issues. Look at our system, look at the enabling environment, create an enabling environment where enough accommodation will be allowed, will be created for people to get accommodation into universities. That will reduce pressure of the number of scores you must get. Because it's unfortunate that the girl is dead, but I don't think that should be the way out. If you fail today, you can pass tomorrow.
Very true.
We have had the former president has contested how many times that he failed. President Buhari contested like election for 4 or 5 times. He later passed thereafter. So there are some people who have done JAMB 3, 4, 5 times, and today they are multi-billionaire after going to school. So if you don't get it today, you can get it tomorrow. Don't kill yourself. It's possible. True. Just believe in yourself.
Very true. Pastor Vance Valley, just before we wind up for today, there are other issues, very salient issues that we're not talking about here. And one of them is technological acceptance, adoption, and taking advantage of them. The CBT, of course, is wholly a computer-based exams. But you will agree with me, there are some villages in Gwalameji in Bauchi State, some villages in Omoaka in Imo State, that do not have electricity. The last time they've seen electricity is 6 months back. And there are students there, schooling in secondary schools, that are expected to sit for CBT. Now, how do you think it's even possible for us to adopt a technology that we know doesn't have an overwhelming acceptance by everyone? So do you think we should still keep the CBT or leave it open for anyone who feels he can attend it or attempt through a CBT and others to just do their manual thing? And
I think we should still have the paper base for the very vulnerable. Let me tell you, you see those villages you mentioned, in some of those villages you have handicapped people who are taking the exam. They are not just cut off from civilization. They are in that village, their problem is double. 1, they are out of civilization. 2, they are handicaps. Okay, they are not able people, they are disabled. So how do you manage those kind of situations, those people?
They are PWD.
So so we need to retain that paper base, even if it's just at the margin, okay, in those remote areas. We need to retain it so that you can that is part of the discrimination I'm talking about. Because in election and electioneering, we call it disenfranchisement. You understand? These persons are discriminated against, or provisions are not made for them in the exams. Okay? You are supposed to have provisions for everybody. But it looks like today, what you have is just, I still believe that you should not subject everyone to that system. And that is part of what we are saying, that JAMB cannot single-handedly make policies to coordinate this exam. They cannot. They have to invite the public. This is where we are going to. What do you think about it? The public input is very important. Even in National Assembly, when they are making laws, they used to invite the public. Let alone JAMB, you are coming up with a policy, you must make provision for public hearing. And it is in that public hearing that you will get the best of outcomes. You will get the best of, of evaluation from the other end. So they should incorporate it into whatever it is they are doing. They are serving the nation. The objective is to serve the nation in that capacity, not to generate money per se, or not to become, the good man or the most righteous man in the country. The objective is not served for this last exam. And so that exam must be set aside. Whatever it is the court want to do about it, whether cancellation, whether reevaluation, whether whatever orders should be made, whether this exam should not be rigged against the students with all that happened. Sometimes people are in centers where they are doing exam, the computer system are breaking down midway.
Yeah, because the young lady, they said she was logged out twice.
She was logged out twice.
Yes.
And then you are using it against them as if you conducted the exam under a merit condition. So, I mean, the country is all ours. We should decide what happened in the country. It shouldn't be that way. And coupled with the fact that these children are young, they are very young. You shouldn't be pouring this at them at this age. So let them have their way. Let them, do the exam, conduct another exam. See, if you have the capacity to remit billions to the federal government, it costs nothing to. You are not printing papers. You are not spending anything really. You are not. It's online.
Yes.
So if you were doing it in the past, where you have to go and print, and all do all that, and press, and logistics, and the centers are there already. So just go back, reset the questions, make sure you bring them under a better condition. Don't ask them to come by 6 a.m. and all that. That's nonsense. When you are registering students, register them close to where they, where they reside and the rest of it. The technology that will do that is within. When a person chooses a state and put his address, it should be automated. You should put him in a school close to that address. The AI can read the parameters, the measurements, how many meters you take one. So there are softwares that can actually fix them close to where they live, no matter, as long as they've chosen a state and a city. The software will bring them into one of the centers within the area where they live. So that is what we need to do. If their system is not upgraded, they should go and upgrade the software. Get better software, get better technology to do this test, and let's stop this thing we're doing.
Very, very true. Barrister, just before I equally let you go in 60 seconds, if you may. Nigeria today, we have leaders slowly but surely converting polytechnics to universities, converting colleges of education to universities. And with that, we have so many candidates hoping to get into universities and not believing or understanding that their dexterity might be with polytechnics or colleges of education. So do you think the government is further worsening the situation by making everyone feel or get the impression that if you don't go to a university, then you've not gone to school at all?
Exactly, that is the image they are creating. They are playing to the gallery and playing politics with it. I don't see why the university you have already on ground, you are not able to even cater for it. You are not able to even provide what they need. The polytechnic that you have that is being managed for people who are, you see, we have bastardized all the system. You call a place a technology, a polytechnic, and you see them offering a course like a law. You see them do courses that are not even related to technology, that is not supposed to be part of it, and that's what you see. So you see, we are playing. The government is playing to the gallery, and they play policies to everything. I don't see why that should be happening. What we need is to upgrade the system on ground and allow for more development in our education, and that would naming, creating more universities, renaming or naming or whatever will not solve the problem. You can't have it's not like our prison center where that's been converted from prison to correctional center without even improving any room in that center. So it doesn't change anything. It's just a mere name change, as far as I'm concerned. It's worsening the situation. It will worsen the situation. I will not help it. Before I go, let me tell my brother that look, they spend money a bit, so that they won't say we don't know what we're saying. Those centers are not owned by them. They rent it, and they will pay the owners of the centers. But what they even pay the owner of the center are not enough, because I've once been a shareholder of a CBT center, and you see at that time when they started, in fact that was when they started earlier, they pay 7 naira per student to the center. Really? The centers are complaining. Wow. Yet the minister is remitting money. The registrar is remitting money to the federal government, and the centers are saying the money you are paying us is not even enough to survive to make us stay in the business. He said they will not change it, that will not add to it. Yet he's returning money to the federal government in the name of we have made excess. Those who are supposed to create the center are not being well paid, so as to be able to upgrade their system, so as to upgrade whatever they have on ground, to have a free and fair or atmosphere for students to survive. Yet it's not done. So they don't pay enough for those who are even rendering the service for them. And that's my call again. The JAMB registrar should not focus on getting money to remit, but focus on this, ensuring that we have an adequate and a viable system on ground.
Very, very true. And we can't say anything further than this. And just to let you know, unfortunately, very sadly, Miss Faith Timilehin, just after she died, 30 minutes after, she got a message from JAMB saying that she's been offered a provisional admission to a university she had applied for. And one would say, isn't this medicine after death? What use is death to Lady Faith at this point? It's actually very, very bad. And we would just hope that this would change. I would love to believe, Barrister Van Sufeli, that possibly JAMB would learn its lessons. Yes. Don't you think so?
Yes,
they
would.
Yes. They would learn their lessons.
We have to lend our voices.
Yes, very true. Thank you so very much, gentlemen, for being here. We truly do appreciate you both.
My pleasure.
All right, that's just about the time we have. I'd love to say thank you to you for making this a complete package. Please do well to visit us if you may. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early. Bye-bye. Hygiene is a condition or practices conducive to maintaining health and preventing disease, especially through cleanliness. This is true, but most importantly, as Nigeria faces new cases of cholera with over 39 certified dead and over 1,000 hospitalized. You are watching The Public Eye. Less than 4 years after the deadly COVID-19 pandemic ravaged the world, with Nigeria losing 3,155 citizens according to the NCDC, one would have thought that preventive health lessons will be learned on measures to avoid reoccurrence. But alas, that seems to not be the case. Amongst the areas where one would have thought strong hygiene to prevent outbreak of epidemic should be exercised are the livestock markets, especially given the COVID-19 virus broke out from China's wet market in Wuhan. Coming back to Nigeria, Ankara, a popular livestock market located between Lagos and Ogun State where livestock are being sold. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the unsavory picture we have from the market. As you would notice, there is no pipe-borne water anywhere in the market, including slaughterhouses. No network road within the market. No lavatory, as we often literally see people defecating in open areas on the drainage facility along Lagos-Ibadan highways, while man and animals cohabit at the same spot in the market, where animal feces and dungs have metaphorically become the new bitumen used to lace and pave every network road within the market community. Funny, isn't it? The catch question then is, why wouldn't we experience a worse type of epidemic emanating from Kara market in addition to the cholera disease already taking lives in the country? Right there is a food for thought. Logically, I guess one would think we do not need to have state house members in Ogun State or the governor sponsoring a bill to provide efficient hygiene in Kara community. Rather, all we need are listening and thinking leaders who truly do understand that ignorance of responsibility is not an immunity to the catastrophe it creates. This is the public eye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Good morning and welcome. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry. We start off today with our newspapers, and possibly we get on to our main conversation just after that. Please do well to be part of what we do. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. We're very so honored to have with us, joining us via Zoom from Lagos State, Nigeria, Barrister Tunji Abdul Hamid. He is a barrister, law public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, barrister, and welcome to Enterprise Morning today.
Good morning, Henry. Thank you for having me. It's my privilege.
All right, thank you so very much, barrister. And we'd love to start off with the Punch newspaper this morning. And we have the big story: mass failure. JAMB VCs to review UTME results on Thursday. And on the same newspaper, Tinubu Akpabio governors pay Clark final respect. Cash transfer missed millions of needy Nigerians. And that's coming from World Bank. And one would think that all the cash transfers as made possible by this administration had gotten to the right people. But World Bank has stated right now that lots of Nigerians have missed out on the opportunity. The question now is, where has all the money gone to? That's a big question. But Barris, I'd love you to talk on this particular matter just before we get into the World Bank money transfer, which the World Bank is saying hasn't gotten to anybody. On this particular story, political... let me see if I can get that again. Political firefight. Saraki panel mobilizes PDP bigwigs against defection. I'd love you to speak to me on this particular matter.
Yeah, I think that came about because of the meeting held by the governor and former governor and the major stakeholder in the party sometimes last week, probably this weekend, Sunday. And because of that, the meeting was called to find a way forward and to see how the disagreement in the party can be resolved. And it's a good one that they've nominated and appointed Dr. Bukola Saraki, arguably one of the best senior presidents that we have in our country, or that we have had in our country. If you recall, he has done this before. He did it before 2023 election. No, not even 2023 election, before the 2019 election, when people were even talking about PDP is gone, PDP is dead. He was able to do it, and he was able to achieve that before the 2023 election or so. I can't remember again. He was able to do that. He was able to rally down that the party people were aggrieved, and he was able to resolve it. He has been given that opportunity again now to see how that can happen again, so that the issue on ground can be resolved. You see, I'm not surprised They will accept if we are deceiving ourselves. It's not about the party not being able to control their people. It's not about the party not being able to resolve their crisis. It's about individuals who are fighting for their own personal interests. That is just it. You see, once a party is not in power in Nigeria, you will see all sorts of crises in it, because individual interests will want to prevail. People want to hijack the control of the party. People want to sell the party. People want to use the party as a conduit to make money. That's what you see. So everybody wants to position themselves in a position whereby they will be able to negotiate and even probably sell the party to the oppositions or who are willing to buy. And that's what you see some people. That's why you see some people who are working against the party still remain the party. They remain the party to work to do damage to the party. And there's nothing. You see, the only party that has the control of its member is the ruling party in Nigeria. Not because they fear the president, not because they fear the chairman of the party, not because they fear the stakeholders, but because they believe that, look, once you are seen as a loyal party member, you are likely to be rewarded with appointment or something. So even if you are angry, you keep it, you bottle it, you will not say it out. But in PDP today, in Labour Party today, they are not expecting that anything will be given to them. That even if they do otherwise, the worst is that they will leave the party and go elsewhere. So because of that, people don't behave. And that's why you see people who sit down, and some people who call themselves leader of the party, sit down, they destroy the party in the name of trying to say the problem of the party. They cause media chat every now and then, repeat the same thing. I'm even tired of that media chat, because they come around, talk about the same thing. You see, we said they should show the ticket to, so you cannot have presidents in one place and have the chairman. I'm tired of hearing this. I'm tired. I don't expect leaders, those who call them leaders, to come outside and start raising all these issues if they truly love the party. These are issues to be discussed internally. These are issues to be discussed within the party. But they will come on media and start destroying the party in the name of deliberately so. That's their target. In the name of they're trying to find solution to the problem. You see, you can't. It's a way forward. And I don't believe when people say PDP is dead. Must you be in the? Is it only when you get a presidential slot that you are alive? The party still have how many number of senators? They still have how many number of House of Rep members? They still have how many governors, sitting governors? They still have how many members of House of Assemblies? They still have so many people. The people in power today, they were outside the government for over 20 years. The AD, ACN that became ACN that became APC today was in existence for how many years? It became and they couldn't get anything until they became a APC. So and AD is even alive today. And that's why when people talk about it's only President Tinubu that has never decamped, I say it's not correct. He has decamped. AD is still alive today. He was in AD from the start. AD to and he moved from AD to ACN. So is that not decamp? So if they tell you the president is the only person who has not decamped in the country, I tell them it's not correct. I say so, and I give you the facts. The AD is still a party in existence today. He's still alive, and the president has left AD for APC. So that is the camping. The camp in Nigeria is normal for a politician because it's not about the national interest. It's about their personal interest. So wherever they will not be able to achieve their personal interest, they go to where they can achieve it. And that's you see, if anybody tells you today that they were coming to APC because the APC is doing well, you see from yourself whether that is true or not. It's because they want to ensure that the position they are holding today, they continue with that position, or they want to negotiate for future position.
But if I might ask, a barrister, do you think the truth being made possible by Dr. Bukola Saraki would further stop the defection as it stands today? Omoen of Akwa Ibom State was stated to have alluded that he is neither with the PDP nor the APC, but we all know where he is panning to. So would Bukola Saraki's peace talk possibly make those still hanging with the PDP remain fully with the PDP?
That is the purpose. The purpose is to make it to stop it, or even reduce it, or even extinguish it completely. That is the purpose. So whether they will be able to achieve it or not is an answer that I cannot give now. But I think Dr. Saraki, like I said earlier on, has the capacity, has the the ability to do that. He has done it before. This is not the first time. He has done that the constitution before, and he was able to. When people were saying PDP is dead at that time, he brought them back to limelight, and they competed favorably with before they lost when the election was lost. The people. So I still believe that PDP is still strong. They may not win the presidential ticket election or whatever. That does not mean the party is dead. The party is still alive, and the party is still running, and people are still there. People will still win the election. If I were to be given opportunity, I would say that we should even work more on states, on winning states, rather than focus majorly on the federal. I know those are the federal. That's their own major concern, because that is where they think their interest will be achieved.
All right,
so, but the state is also important. If they are able to capture more states, even the ruling party will be afraid that look, this party is getting stronger. Everybody is looking at federal, that we must win the federal, and that's why all discussions are geared towards winning presidential election. I know it's very important. and it's a cocoa in this country, because the president has the major power, and the presidency, the federation, and the federal government has the major soup to be consumed by everybody. That's why they are looking at that area. I think it's possible and it's doable, but particularly with the person in charge, Dr. Bukola Saraki. It's possible and it's doable.
Very true. Let's get to the Daily Trust newspaper for today. We have the big story here. Boko Haram kills 4 soldiers in renewed onslaught on military bases. Barrister, I'd love you to speak to this matter, because it's at a time when Nigerians had thought that it's possible that the Boko Haram insurgency would have slowed down in the north and the northeast. Right now, Kwara is part of those states, unfortunately, that's been taken over. Some parts of Kwara has been taken over by insurgent groups, and it's really, really despicable. But most importantly, knowing that these people are gunning down our gallant soldiers every other day. Do you think the government has got what it really takes to control this issue?
Yeah, they're not showing that they have the capacity, even though I know we have the capacity, but they are not showing it.
And why do you think it's so? Why do you think they don't have the capacity?
I say we have the capacity. I believe we have the capacity, but they're not showing it.
Oh, okay, all right.
We have the capacity.
Okay.
They're not doing well. They're not doing enough. It's not as if we don't have the capacity. I believe in our military. I believe they have the proper backing and the proper facility and instruments. They can do it. But what we see in this country today is that you will see a humongous amount of money being budgeted for security. You will see state governors collecting 10% of the allocation as security votes, and you will see them do nothing. It's unfortunate that in my state, and you see what you see in Kwara State that's happening today is because the governor is not active. The governor is not showing capacity. He's not even doing enough in terms of not even in terms of welfare and even the security itself, which is the major problem, which is the major job of the governors of the government. My governor is not. When I say my governor here, I'm saying so because I'm from Kwara State. He's not been doing enough. He's not been doing any in terms of this area. He's found wanting every area. He's always not available. We don't know where he stays. He doesn't do much.
Is he part of those governors? Is he part of those governors that report from Abuja? They live in Abuja and they control their states from there.
He reports from Abuja, from Lagos. He stays more in Lagos and Abuja than Kwara. And when you have a governor that is like a sole administrator, that you see that thing cannot move in that kind of a state, because nothing can be done without the governor's involvement. The commissioners that were appointed were like a PA or even just domestic staffs who are seen as supporting the government. And that's why you see that in my state, I'm not aware that they've even since the inception of this government I'm not aware they've done 3 or so executive meeting physically. I'm not sure. What they do is they interact through WhatsApp and get directive and instructions. So you can see the kind of situation we have in that state. The governor is not doing enough. He's not showing capacity. He's not showing that he knows what it takes to do it. He's not providing enough. I'm not saying he's majorly responsible for the security situation in the state, but he can support with his support. You remember on those states, what the late governor did, which is thinking he introduced Amatekun, and he gave them the necessary support, and with that, they were safe in a bit in that state from those issues. But what are we doing in our state? I'm not aware that anything's been done. We are just waiting for the president to do things. I know, I agree, I believe, and I know that the president is the commander-in-chief, and the responsibility of the security for the federation rests on the president. But by governor the governors, they collect what we call security votes, and they also collect money in that regard. So they are considered as the chief security officer of the state. So I believe they should also think outside the box, think of what to do. And so, but in general, the federal government is not doing enough when it comes to security. And the issue of talking, the summit and this or that is not what we need now. What we need is action. Why must we wait for these people to attack before we do anything? We don't plan on how to conquer them or how to attack them. We plan on how to defend. Is that how to? And I'm told that the best form of attack is the best form of defense is to attack. So if we, in our own case here, what we do is to wait for them to commit an offense somewhere or commit atrocity somewhere or kill people somewhere. Then we start rushing to that place and start seeing how to do it. That means we are not proactive. We are reactionary to the attack. So I think we need to do more. We are not doing enough in terms of security. We are not providing enough personnel. The welfare of the people are not being taken. We have been saying this all the time, that the welfare is not enough. You cannot be at the war front and you'll be thinking of how to pay school fees, how to pay house rent, how to pay this and that, how your family will eat. You cannot concentrate. And in that, we have been told so much money have been pushed into it. Where are they? You can see it. So it's that time we get serious and then get the job done.
All right, that's very, very well said, because one would be very surprised that Kwara of all states, that is becoming the headquarters of Mahmuda insurgent groups, and it's really very despicable.
We are very close to Niger, we are very close to Benue, we are a bit close to Niger, Benue, and we are bordered by some of those states where they have a crisis. Rather than us think ahead and provide the security so we won't be able to encroach in our state, we stayed aloof, and that is the result we are seeing today.
Very true, and we sincerely hope that something will be done very soon. But let's take a look at Vanguard newspaper. A very interesting stories here. On ending crisis, PDP in ICU may die. Ex-Benue governor, Suswan. Now, these are people who were very great stakeholders of the PDP, and if they are stating that the PDP currently is on ICU, then it's really a very bad story.
It's unfortunate that kind of statement is coming from that kind of person. This is a man who is thinking of becoming the chairman of the party, who's thinking of taking a stage, but because he's not getting his way around that, is because he's thinking he's an ally of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, a close supporter of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, thinking that because probably there's a work that the people are working against Alhaji Atiku Abubakar interests, they are all trying to paint the party bad so that they'll be able to escape to whatever they want to escape to achieve their own personal benefit. It's not a stakeholder, a leader. I don't believe to be talking in this manner. Your party, the party you are in, the party you are trying to be chairman, you are talking, even if it's true, these are issues to be discussed internally, not for public consumption. When you say this publicly, you are painting your party bad, and you are making it look like you are even discouraging people who have confidence.
And he's still a member. He is still a carrying member of the PDP, right?
He's a member. I told you, he's even scheming to become the chairman as we speak. As we speak, he's scheming to become the chairman of the party. And it's unfortunate that kind of thing is coming from himself. Some people who call themselves leader in the party, in the name of trying to find solution, will come on social media and come on the TV and national TV and internet TV, start talking things that should be talked internally or inside, and in the name of we're looking for solution. Just like my grandpa, Chief Bode George, is always coming to station, to TV, and talk bad about his party in the name of his looking for solution. They are putting the party in a more bad shape. I advise them to keep quiet and run the thing internally. Solve the problem internally if you have a solution. Not to come to the TV and start running a commentary regards to what is bad, and it's even exaggerating the thing the way they are.
But Barrister, you agree with me, different strokes for different folks. When internal resolution is difficult, when it is becoming very difficult, and people like Nyesom Wike are increasingly making it much more difficult for internal resolution within the party. So don't you think it's very important that those stakeholders who have been there, especially Bode George, has been there for a very long time? If there's one example of a Nigerian politician that has not left his party, it is Chief Bode George. So he has the rights to say some of these things, knowing that he was part of those that incubated the party.
And if you talk about one of the major stakeholders in the party, one of the founders of the party, who has destroyed the party more, who has worked against his party, you also mentioned Chief Bode George. He openly worked against his party in 2023, and he's coming on TV to say the same thing and to accuse people of not loving the party. He clearly worked against the party openly.
Do you have facts to that, Barrister?
If you talk about people, what you say?
I said, do you have facts to that claim?
Mr. Bode George Chief Bode George said it clearly that he will not work for the governor candidate of the party because he doesn't like him. He said it clearly that he was part of the G5 who worked against the party. So what of the G5? What did they do? They fell apart because of the disagreement. Probably something else happened, and there was disagreement, and he left. But he was part of it. He said it. He's even saying it to date.
Yes, Baba, is that the inside sources that we have, if you go back to what actually caused the problem, was that the candidate of the PDP was asked to allow Rhodes Viver to be part of the team, but he deliberately refused that, and knowing that the whole party was really trying to ensure that it wins.
Henry, the point is that did he work against his party? Even if the candidate that he doesn't like emerge.
Barrister, let's not forget here, Chief Bode George has been with the party for a very long time, so he has the right to, of course, call to attention some of those very salient matters. So don't you think so?
Yeah, you are right. He has been one of the founding father of the party. He has been there since inception. He has benefited from the party. He has held so many positions. He has participated in so many elections. And in that regard, he is qualified to say anything. But notwithstanding, Chief Bode George is also part of those who destroyed the party to an extent, in quotes. Because I remember in 2023, he was part of those who worked against the party in the state and the national. He worked against the interests of the state, of the candidate of the party in the state. That is, what's his name again? Jendol.
Jendol, yeah.
He worked against him simply because he said he is not his candidate, or he wanted Badebo Spivo to be his deputy, and he refused to. And in that regard, he said openly that he will not work for the party. He also joined the G5, if you recall, to work against the party. And what was the G5 doing? They were working against the interests of the party at that time. So if a senior member of the party in that category could do that, and this is the same Chief Bode George that will always tell us party supremacy party is supreme, and the supremacy of the party should be respected. So if you respect his party supremacy, whatever the position of the party, in as much as it's a position of the party, even if it's against your interest, you must support it. So, but what they say and what they do are not the same. So you cannot spare Chief Bode George when you talk about the problem of the party. And yes, he has the right to. So I'm saying that even if let's even forgive and forget that he has done that. If you have solution to the problem, why not go to as a senior stakeholder of the member, as a BOT member, a senior one for that matter? Why not go inside, call your other colleagues, discuss it, and find a way around it? And if they refuse to follow you, you don't join the likes of a Minister of FCT to start calling media chats or start going to one TV or the other to start talking about what you have done that the party is not doing, or what is you are running the party down. You may have a good intention that the intention is to ensure that they do the right thing. But when it becomes a national public issue, it will be interpreted differently. What Chief Bode George, what I will say here that will not make news. If you say by Chief Bode George tomorrow, it will become news. So they carry weight. What they say carry weight. Same thing as a former governor Soswan. And so in that regard, if Governor Soswan is saying the party is in ICU, so what is he saying? Indirectly, he's saying the party is dead. It's gradually dying. And if the party is dying, Is it within their mouth that is it not for them to see how the party will come up? The same thing to those governors who are claiming that the party is not resolving its matter. Therefore, they are leaving the party. Who are supposed to be in charge of controlling the party, of governing the party, of administering the affairs of the party? The governors. They are the one in charge. They are the owner of the party in quotes. Owner in the sense that they bankroll the activity of the party. And whoever pays the piper, how do they say it? Dictate the tone.
Yeah.
So if both of them now stay aloof without involving themselves in how to resolve the matter and blaming other people, what should we say? A governor of Delta State and his people left because they say there's an internal crisis in the party and it can't be resolved. What role did they play in resolving it? What was that? Since PDP lost election 2023, I've not had former Governor Okowa say anything.
But Barrister,
but
Barrister, the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, is still an active member of the party. What has he done to resolve the problems within the party himself?
You see, I've told you, everybody have different agenda. The agenda of FCT minister is to destroy the party for the purpose of giving APC the chance.
Then why not expel him? Why not expel him outrightly?
That's one of the options. But you see, it's not for me as a boy as a boy that may not know anything. According to some people, they will say he doesn't know anything in politics. For me, politics is not a company where the MD will just wake up and say I sack you because you are not performing. Other people in politics, it's about numbers. Take it or leave it. Minister Wike is able to achieve what he's achieving because certain members of the party are working with him. And they are working for him. And he has people who are loyal to him in the party.
Which means he's a mole. Which means he's a mole in the party. And when you have a mole in any organization, that is the dead.
I know. Because the issue is this. Suspending him, would they be able to also pin his mouth? And say, don't talk about PDP again whenever you're talking. Or don't interact with our people again. Would they be able to also hold him to that? What he's doing is not about giving the party directives. It is because people who are members of the party are working with him. So these are the problem, not the Wike himself. It is these people who are working, and that's why I say most of them are working because these things are happening because of the personal interest of some of the people.
So these people on that reference, are they a majority? And if they are, do you think this would affect Atiku's opportunity in the future? Do you think Atiku would love to remain with the party? It's a three-legged equation there.
I like Atiku also is not, with due respect, is not even doing enough as well to resolve the crisis in the party. Whether he's looking for a way to just take himself out of the problem, or just expand his own what's it called candidacy for projecting himself for the next election. He is not doing enough. You see, as a leader, even if you feel that you have been offended by certain people, or you call boys, or people you think you are bigger than them, you are not supposed to show it to them. You pretend as a leader and walk alongside with them and make them see reason why this will happen. They are all not doing that. So that is the problem with the PDP is having now, is that people who are supposed to be leader are not leader. They are not leading. That is the problem. And that's why Mr. Wike is able to achieve what he's achieving. Those who are supposed to be leader are not leader. If they are leading well, people being used by Mr. Wike and co may not fall for him. But because there's nobody to run to, and you see in politics, Nigerian politics, it's about money. Take it or leave it. If you say you are a leader in a party, if you can't spend money, you are not leader. So I think when people complain that he run away, this and that, is because once you hold yourself out as the man in charge, that means even if they want to buy broom in the party, they will come to you. Anybody wants to go and pay money for this, they will come to you. Personal money. It's not as if the money was contributed and say, keep it for us. So that whatever we need money will come out. So that's why you see people in government are the one being able to sponsor because they have free money from the government money.
Very true, Barrister. Very, very true.
That's why you see what the people are doing. That's why you see them being able to do that. So because Alhaji Atiku is not able to give them money, people see him as irresponsible. That is not showing the leadership. Not because he's not talking, but because he's not giving the right money that they are looking for.
All right.
And because some of people are also thinking that he's been winning the ticket of the party for long, that is that time he decide to put him somewhere else. But that is politics. What I expect them to do is to come together and work behind the scene and make him lose the election. Not to say you should not contest. It is his right to contest. You come to the election is by delegates from the states. He does not control the governors in the states, and as it is today now, the majority of the governors in the party are even against him. So how will he now capture their delegates during the election? If he's able to capture their delegates, that means they're not doing their job. That means they're not working well. They're not doing the politics well. So either than focus on playing the politics to be able to edge Alhaji Atiku Abubakar out of the contest or to win him at the primary, they were busy trying to see how he will not contest.
Well, because of course there are so many reasons to that.
and I tell you, the position of the governors that there will be no any coalition is because of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. They see that coalition as the baby of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and if they should follow it, if they should follow it, probably they are working for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. I also blame Alhaji Atiku Abubakar in that regard. He did not carry the party along when he was trying to plan the coalition. You cannot do it alone. You are not. PDP is not APC, where individuals or group determine what the interest of the party. PDP is a party where majority of people have their say in it before a decision is taken. Unlike APC, where 1, 2, 3 people can come together and take decision, and that will be binding on everybody. It's not possible in the PDP. Yes. So in that regard, you cannot just go around and say after going around, you now come and say, party, we are moving to, or we are colliding, or we are doing this with it. It's not possible.
Very true, Barry.
So there's a need for us to have leadership, for the party to have leadership, so as to be able to achieve the result. But as it is now, it's lacking because of personal interest.
Well, we sincerely hope that Nigeria will grow.
Yes. That does not mean the party is not existing. The party is still not strong. It may not be strong enough to win the presidential election. It will be strong enough to win some states.
Very, very true. Of course.
It's in existence.
Yes, very, very true, Barrister. I would love to really thank you so very much for this clarification. As much as Suzwan has said that PDP is currently on ICU, I would love to believe not every patient that gets to the ICU do people lose. There are patients that go through ICUs and survive. So it's very possible that, according to him, PDP is currently on ICU. There's possibility that he could equally survive. That's just about the time we have for this particular segment. Barrister will be here to do justice to the next topic we have, and equally joining us will be Barrister Van Sufeli. That's when we return. UTME pressure blamed as a 19-year-old Timilehin dies by suicide in Ikorodu in Lagos State, Nigeria. That in the beat is still Enterprise Morning. Please don't go anywhere.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Hello folks, let's make to elevate your viewing on Enterprise TV, and the show is Homo Politicus, the friendly octopus that claws at anything worthy of note in my country. Today, Nigerian lawmaker bankrolls mass wedding for 105 orphans and the less privileged. More like campaigning in poetry, governing in prose. You know, the flamboyant American lawyer and politician Mario Matthew Cuomo, the 52nd governor of New York State for 3 terms, famously said, quote, "You campaign in poetry, but govern in prose," end quote. Although very pregnant with many meanings, the one that fits the bill here is this: when running for office, you may speak grandly about how much better you would run things. But when you nick the office, you realize it's a real office with very real problems. Yes, Representative Abdul Malik Zubairu, APC Zamfara, promised the electorate in Bungudu Maru Federal Constituency of his state that he would sponsor the mass wedding in the area if he got elected. Today, Zamfara is bedeviled with insurgency and related evils in the state. Of course, many of those brides, I dare say, and their grooms would have dropped out of school. Prose and poetry are 2 opposing styles. Let's have a conversation, please. My discussants are ready. Let's meet and greet them. Barrister Evans Ufeli is a legal mind. He's also a public affairs analyst. Barrister Ufeli, I greet you. Welcome.
Yes, good day.
Ufeli is joined by public affairs commentator David Ikojo. Is that right?
Ikojo.
Ikojo?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. David, I welcome you.
Thank you, sir.
Gentlemen, the story is straightforward. So, ordinarily, let me start with David. Ordinarily, the bystander will say, but the politician is fulfilling a campaign promise.
We applaud him for that. I will applaud him for that, for keeping to his promise. But here is where I have an
Promise
issue
of
with it.
doing what?
In what I saw, in supporting...
For the benefit of those who forgot.
Okay, supporting the families of the people that were affected by banditry attacks. In supporting. I didn't read it anywhere where he said he would marry off or he would sponsor a wedding, of a mass wedding. Now where I have an issue is, yes, fine, he's keeping to his promise.
What promise again?
He's keeping to his promise of supporting the families that were affected by banditry attacks. Now, yes, he's keeping to his promise, but most of those girls there, I don't think they are up to the age of marriage. Are most of them educated? Couldn't he have sponsored them to school? Couldn't he have sponsored a good number of them to learn a skill, 1 or 2? Then he will now, let's say, pick those that are ready and ripe for marriage and put into marriage.
Yeah, but you just said he was fulfilling a campaign promise.
Yes, but that doesn't mean you should pick all of them. Some were, let's say, 16. If you look at the picture, you look at the pictures that are online, you see that some of them are 16, let's say 14, and then you just pick these children who are still new to life and have gone through a lot and just put them into marriage. Were they educated on marriage? So was there any seminar held to educate them on how marriage would be like?
David, so you could say the man campaigned in poetry, but is ruling in prose.
One could say that.
But by Saufeli, he's not speaking for you, or is he?
Well, what I say in this whole thing is that manifestos, from what we know it to be, are actually the projections and aspirations of a would-be leader, okay, who, by every stretch of imagination, will present to the public what he feels are their needs. Most times, the politicians don't conduct or consult the people to find out exactly what their needs are or where. They only put up a document, an assumption, pack up in a document they call manifesto. And when they are elected into office, they make an attempt to want to fulfill those assumptions, those needs they believe that are the people's. But the one other reference is one that troubles the mind, because in the list of priority, the priority of a child is not marriage, from the best of my understanding. The priority of a child is not marriage. The priority of a child could be food, clothing, education, and in that hierarchy. So if you prioritize marriage for a child over any of the aforementioned, it means that you have misplaced the priority of the child. Okay, because
but Boris Ofeli, just a minute, Boris Ofeli, if you live in an environment where schooling has become haram, that is, what's the other word?
Forbidden.
Forbidden. Do you blame the quote-unquote child?
No. Those who sold the concept to them that schooling is forbidden sold the wrong concept to them. And
they accepted it.
Well, at that stage, sometimes you have rural dwellers, children who do not know much from the left or the right. But the hypocrisy in it is that those leaders don't sell that to their children. That they take their children abroad. They put their children in the best schools all over the world. And those same schools are the schools that they said knowledge emanating therefrom is forbidden. But it's not forbidden to their children. It's forbidden to the poor. So you notice that at the end of the day, the poor, is the one that will suffer the brunt of this misinformation.
The shorter end of the stick.
Yes, it's misinformation. And that is not good for society. A leader who has been elected to govern should be able to uplift the life of his people by providing education for them to empower their inner faculty.
Yeah.
And then give them a new perspective of life, which they can adopt, thereafter and make meaning out of life. But what we have here is someone misinforming and miseducating children. And then you are dragging them into marriage so that they go and start another circle of poverty. The one on them, they have not been able to wash it off. Then you drag them deeper into the pit to go start another circle of that same lifestyle. I don't think that is right.
Okay, David, I'm sure you are now familiar with the saying that politicians promise you heaven, but deliver hell. And makes you want to say, if voting changed anything, they would make voting illegal. Have you heard it?
No, I have not heard that.
Okay. But does it not sound plausible, reasonable to you?
It sounds reasonable. We've had a lot of politicians come and promise heaven and earth, like you said, and then most of them just do one or two. Let's say he gives us 5 promises. He does one and forgets about the rest. Some don't even go back to do any. They just continue with what they want to do.
Boris Ofeli, Mahatma Gandhi, you remember him now, he said, it is better to be violent if violence is in your heart than to put on a cloak of non-violence to cover impotence. You get the logic.
Yeah, that is hypocrisy. It is better to show off yourself that you are a deadly human being than to come out and look holy and sanctimonious, but inside you will do dangerous things and deceive people. That is exactly what this captured the entire essence. I mean, these are children who are just coming up of life, and what they ordinarily need is the best gift you can give to a man is to give him a new perspective in the mix of whatsoever you have. But you are not able to give him a new perspective. You are even advertising it to the world that you are about to, or you have conducted wedding or marriage for over 450, and you are telling us you have given them some money. You are giving them
100,000.
Yes. So
into 105.
Couldn't you have used that fund, to educate them or to take them to learn skills? Because the question I'm going to ask is, these people that you married off now, do they have skills? When were they even born that they are now at the neck and deep into marriage already? It shows that the leader is a failure himself. Okay. You understand? Leadership is the ability to move people from point A to point B progressively. Okay.
And yet you are supposed to be a rainbow in somebody's cloud.
Yes, and you are supposed to inspire confidence. Okay. We read, from the Roman Empire how that in those days Caesar will stand before the people and just make a speech, sometimes 10-minute speech, 5-minute speech. And then the soldiers, both the soldiers and the people will team together and they are ready for war. Soldier is the king that won't have to calm them down. All they needed then was just the motivation of a leader. Okay, but here, here are leaders who do not motivate people, demotivate them, tell them that education, Western education is forbidden, then introduce some kind of system to them, marry them off, and then neck them deep into religion. Yeah. And religion playing a very dangerous role here. That is why I keep saying that perhaps religion is for the poor, because the very rich and comfortable elites in the society, you cannot find their children in that mix.
Bryce Ofeli, if you remember the so-called first Antichrist, Napoleon Bonaparte had said, religion is a sure way of keeping the poor people down.
Yes, and that religion is the reason why the poor will not eat the rich, kill the rich. So this is exactly what is going on. This lawmaker, let him tell us how many among those that are his own children, where are his children? He should tell us whether they have been married off at that same age where he's doing this, and whether that should be the practice. Okay? Because here we have a law in Nigeria, the Child Rights Act in section 23 and 22.
But many states, you know, are yet to adopt it.
Yeah, but many have also adopted it. Okay, prohibits child forced marriage and all that. But here we have a practice here. Even betrothal is also forbidden. Okay, but here you have this one has even gone beyond all that. They are already drawn to it, and a lot of people saw this. So there are other young girls now possibly that will be warming up for the same privilege. I mean, looking up to their lawmaker, that in the next batch, some of them will start to apply. Because that is what
it's only natural.
Yeah, so you have created a bad precedent, and then people are looking up to that precedent. That is what they are going to do. Their elderly ones did it. They will follow and all that. Then you keep repeating this cycle of poverty.
Yeah, all right.
It's not right.
David, are you seeing what I'm saying now? The difficulty in divorcing religion from politics, given what he has just said.
Religion is politics. Politics is religion.
Very well.
There is no much difference between the two. Someone stands in power and tells you, this is what we should do. And as a follower, that is what you are going to do. He tells you, God forgive me, he tells you, you are supposed to pay 10%.
Forgive me for doing what?
He tells you are supposed to pay 10% of your tithes. He tells you the tithe is not for him, it's for God. And you pay. If you don't pay, it becomes a problem. He starts chastising you in front of everyone. The same thing politicians do too. If they tell you this is the way to go, if you go outside of that line, blood is definitely going to be shed.
David, Jesus the Christ never talked about tithing.
He only said give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar.
And it wasn't referring to tithe.
He's only referring to tithe.
Okay. And I dare say Holy Prophet
referring to taxation.
Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, never asked children to go into early marriage to bear children.
This marriage thing that just happened, first of all, we don't even know if most of those girls were married to young children like themselves. We don't know if they were married to older men.
So it will be the blind leading the blind.
We don't.
Nobody is leading anybody.
We're just going wherever we want to go.
No. Going by what he said, if a child gets married to another child, aren't you talking about two blind people?
Two blind
following.
Inexperienced people leading each other.
We don't even know if, let's say, there's a possibility that one alpha would have married 6 of those girls and will send them straight to the farm.
That's where they are going to. There's no other place.
So where are we now going with this?
Or Quranic schools.
Where are we now going with this? Where is the poverty alleviation that is going to happen? You marry them off, gave each family received about 170,000. Which business is 170,000 going to start now that would uphold the family?
Do they have skills, this young girls?
And their children, what are they going to use? The girls were giving 50,000, it was written, and they were also giving 20. That's they have 70. What are they going to use this 70,000? Which knowledge do they have to use it?
But do you know any situation where the Zamfara state government has denounced this exercise?
No, they've not. There's no way they've denounced it because it's in the news, and the lawmaker spoke himself to the press, and the press reported, what exactly is going on. And he took it as a mark of fulfillment of his manifesto, which he has told the world. But we are saying that fulfillment is a wrong one, because it is at variance with a known law of the country, that you should not. There was a time they also said that these young people are adults. They were adults. But when we saw the pictures, but they don't look like adults. At least they don't look like adults at all. So the thing is, there's a criminal conspiracy here. The parents or
conspiracy to what?
Dowry was paid. Dowry was paid to which family?
To commit an offense. To commit an offense.
So, but the exercise in Zamfara is not an actionable one, or is it?
Well, it's not actionable because it's not domesticated. In that Zamfara, the former governor of that state used to be now a senator, and married a 12-year-old some time ago.
Egyptian?
Yes, some time ago. And some other persons
justified it.
Yes, and all that. And these lawmakers too, many of them have underage girls that they have married off to themselves and to other people. And we're saying, is that the only thing? Is that the only program that state have to offer to the public? Why haven't they sent children to abroad, send them to go to school, or send them to learn a trade and put it in the news?
In a land where education is haram, forbidden.
This thing.
Okay. Hold your fire, Barrister Ofeli. David, I hope this makes some sense to you. The late German dictator, Adolf Hitler, said infamously how fortunate governments across the world are, that the people they administer don't ever think. Aren't you worried about, if we always talk about leadership, but what about the led? Aren't you worried or troubled here?
I'm worried. The Nigerian citizens don't think. We have elected these people to think for us. The problem is when these people come with their manifestos, they tell us what they want to do. They make it seem so beautiful.
Campaigning in prose.
They make it seem so beautiful that even the layman would accept it easily. And when they get into power, democracy is for the people, by the people. But when they get there, democracy is for themselves. They get themselves SUVs. They live in a world of their own. They do whatever they like.
You could have been one of them and not reject any of those things. By Safeli, you get the impression in my country, your country, you cannot be your own man when you go into public office.
Yeah, it's difficult to totally be your own man, but to a large extent, you can reasonably moderate what should be and what should not be. Because as a lawmaker, you are leading an entire constituency, okay? And what they expect from you is to, as much as possible, make life easy for the people of that constituency, apart from making laws. Because in Nigeria, we have made parliament to mean that you have to also handle a project. But it will become unfortunate if the project you are handling is to marry off children to suitors and all that. And it's not development. What you are doing to the state is that you are plunging them into higher difficulties.
More darkness.
You are paralyzing potentials. Potential rather. You are paralyzing potential, and it is wrong for that as a leader to do that.
Yeah.
Except you don't actually know the true meaning of empowerment or empowering people. You don't. Marriage is not an empowerment. It's not. As for me,
no. But Sofeli, think again. Marriage is not an empowerment.
It's not. It's not
for children.
No. It's not.
It's not an empowerment.
It's not an empowerment.
David, you get the impression that the most violent element in society is ignorance. What don't you think?
It is. In ignorance we are led, and we do whatever we are told. Even if it means sticking our heads in fire, we stick our heads in it. Because
the politician said so.
Yes.
And the Bible says you must obey those in authority.
Because not in isolation.
No, not in isolation is not there. It's not the part of the text.
No, because Jesus rebuked the Pharisees by telling them that they wash the outside of the cup, okay, and the inside is full of scarlet and dirt, meaning that they tell the people to do things that they themselves will not do, and they mislead the people. You know, they even when one of them was caught, the Bible says was caught in the very act, they wanted to stone her to death, and the course of that paradigm was changed when he said, "Among you, anyone that have no sin should first cast the stone." And they all dispersed. Okay,
so they had stones there.
Yes, they had stones there. So it's not every time that whatever you are told to do by your leaders, you will do same. I mean, there was Potiphar's wife that told Joseph to do a particular thing, and
Joseph rebuked her.
Yes, she's leader to Joseph. But
David, in taking the discussion home, therefore, in Bible and Quranic times, in Bible and Quran times, prophets of God and Allah, if you like, spoke truth to authority.
Yes.
But in the modern times, they hardly do.
They hardly do, or do the authorities listen? I don't think they hardly do.
No, which is which? No, it is not speaking truth from both sides of the mouth to
at that time, there was a clear-cut distinction between the clergy and the politicians.
Yes.
Today, there's no decision between the clergy and the politicians. In fact, we have more politics inside the church than we have outside. Yes, because if you see the way people go about hustling in church to be this and to be that and all that, it's almost like the only thing the church have not done is to conduct election.
They do.
Every other political endeavors they have adopted.
There are churches where they do election.
They contest election. So, I mean,
so what's the difference?
So what's the difference between the politicians and the church?
Well, you know, I remember a Negro spiritual song, "Give me old time religion." So it's better we went back there.
Yes. Yes.
Don't you think?
It is better, yes, because what we have today is a complete mess of what religion should be. For some of us who do theology, it's quite very hard to go to church right now. Very, very hard. You sometimes just do online service. It's hard because everything we're taught, okay, from hamartiology to eschatology to all the these things all the courses that we did about God and all that. The current day church has turned everything on its head. So if you have a very clinical understanding of the fact that Jesus is the alloparacletics, you will not be able to go to church because you cannot find a place that reflects what you know. So you just do online and leave the rest.
All right. In applying the brakes, let me quote Mahatma Gandhi one more time, David. He said, "It is better to be violent if there's violence in our heart than to put on a cloak of non-violence to cover our impotence." You get the logic?
Yes, I get the logic.
So how do we take this home?
Hypocrisy. What I feel should have been done is get a list of these children, segregate it. This one should go to school. This one should go and learn skill. People of age should go into marriage.
You want to
our politicians should begin to listen. Yes, bring back the old-time religions. Let them begin to listen to their followers, and let the followers also, people who are put in parliament, to begin to speak the truth.
To think, let the followers think for themselves.
Yes, it couldn't have been the truth. It couldn't have been true that the choices of 105 persons at the same time.
It couldn't have been true that it was only him who sat down and even thought this.
No, you're married. Okay. Marriage cannot be the choice of 105 persons at a go. They had other choices that you could have pushed them to and fund it, finance it, and let them have a good life. But to pack them all into marriage so that you can reenact poverty, I don't think this is the right thing to do. This is pathetic. It's a sad story. There should be a day of mourning, actually.
Okay.
It's a very sad. You have destroyed destinies and talents. That's what it is.
Bring on another generation of poor people.
Yes. So,
All right, folks, we must apply the brakes here, but not before thanking Barrister Evans Ufeli for his time. I thank you.
my pleasure.
David Ikojo, I greet you too.
Thank you, sir.
Well, that's it. We have dropped it on your plate. Nigerian lawmaker bankrolls mass wedding for 105 orphans and the less privileged. Of course, you could say the politician campaigned in poetry and is governing in prose, which are two different styles. Let the debate continue in your part of town, and until I come your way again, this is Citizen Jones Hussein thanking you for your time. Bye-bye now.
Enterprise TV,